Chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, bronchial asthma, and allergic are main treatable CRDs. So the CRDs stands for eugenics. Like, but instead of you being in the lab, you're outside. It's all a science experiment, and it's an observation of differentials. Peep game. Allergic redness. I never heard this BA5. I was looking for the new variant, but yeah, that's what I found. So let's look up bronchial asthma first. So it's dealing with right. It's dealing with like your throat chakra, but your lymphatic system. And if you peep the right side, your right on your throat, starting from your right ear down, has I believe a lymphatic vein, and a lot of stuff get clogged up there. Really, you could drink on the right side of you. Drink down that area, and you could drink on your left side. You can also drink down the middle, down the esophagus. Just to clear up everything, you'll just probably have to put the cup on the right side of you, or the left side of you, like you do when you drink it regularly. Put it in a cup or bottle to the middle of your mouth. Anyways, let's look up this real quick. This might be a little boring, but I mean, I'll be finding this shit easy. Boom. Exactly what I said. Alright, so asthmatic airways, constricted mucus. Alright, so a lot of this meat that you're eating is expired, and they got more different chemicals to make the shell life longer, meaning low key when you're eating, really you shouldn't be eating shit, period. But when you're eating it passed through, that makes it makes it hard for it to digest, because it just becomes lactic acid, fat, and mucus, right? So lactic acid is like makes acidosis, so like heartburn. But the mucus, right, it traps, it makes like a dam in a river that's fucking up your cycle. So when you're trying to generate light, it's kind of in the way. So the thing is, in a light body during this cycle, it's trying to generate light, because to generate light, you need a charge on both parallels on your grid. So that's the left, right of your brain, your two suns. Then you have your above and below, all in your body. So the thing is, when the mucus sits there, it allows whatever else that's in the air, because whatever they put in the shot, they kind of put it in the air. But thing is, with the air, it just goes through your mucus and empty its way out. But the thing is, I mean, it goes through that stream and empty its way out, because when you get your body back on balance, now it's in a cycle. So it can only just generate energy for your cells. So the thing is, your cells get caught up in its mucus with it. So whatever they have in it cause pathological blood destruction because it's a cycle. So that being said, why it's being able to be blocked is giving it a chance to reproduce wherever it's at, right? So asthma is a condition in which a person's airways become inflamed, narrow, and swell, and produce extra mucus, which makes it difficult to breathe. So I made a video about the clouds and the formula that's in it. It's calcium carbonate. The alchemy, the chemical equation to that um, is calcium carbonate and slash graphene oxide, right? And when that's put in a higher state of matter, because you see how in the shots it has to be frozen, right? Because it's in a different state of matter. To preserve it, you have to keep it like that, or it becomes an uncontrollable substance because of the animals that's mixed with it. Because they always mix something natural with the unnatural to make it a reverse compound. So, I mean, a compound that just does everything in reverse because of most of the time oxygen, right? So, asthma could be minor or it can interfere with daily activities. In cases, it may lead to a life-threatening attack, dealing with the heart or anxiety. Anxiety attacks can deal with fear. That's why it needs to be removed while they're doing shit like this, because mentally you can kill yourselves and physically you kill yourselves by not purging the system. Really, even if someone is trying to like know self and baptize the waters in your body, like take care of your temple, like if you're trying to do that, then really you're gonna have to fast for 90 days or more for it to start beginning the way it's supposed to. Because you might do it for a week or so, yeah, you're gonna feel good, but like it's still shit you have to get done. And then while you're doing that, once you get it out, that's the first thing. Then it starts to repair while you're getting out. So just like a plant, you get your solar, and then when you go to sleep, straight pitch black, no TV, none of that shit. Because what would that do to yourself? It will help it reproduce more. It starts for die more when you're sleeping. So, all right. So the thing is, to reverse that is pretty much get the shit out of you and get your physical right too. So that's eat what you're consuming and building up your muscle memory, because everything memory ties to your cells. Once you start losing cells, you know something blocking something, and then try to interfere. That's why you get hot, because when you get hot, what happens to your state of matter inside your body? The atoms, your cells, they move around more, right? So when they move around more, it's fighting back because more of you is duplicating itself, right? So boom, let's get back to what it was saying at first. B A meaning medical. Because 5 means V, and V means variant. So, another thing that they were starting to use instead of graphene oxide in the clouds is barium, because it holds more of a charge. See, Ba, barium, B6, bowel action, barium meal. Bachelor of Arts, apnea bradycardia. Never heard of that before. Bradycardia is a slowing of the heart rate. Usually it's less than 100 beats per minute for a premature baby. Bradycardia often follows alpha beta. The Mayo Clinic lists obstructive sleep apnea as potential cause for bradycardia due to tendencies to interrupt your body's sleep pattern. Immaturity of the brain and the weakness in that muscle. We're talking about your junk DNA. So once those start dying, it starts dying in your spleen, which is your solar. And it goes down to your sacral, then your root, then back up. As the frequencies is going up. Now we're at throat. We're at throat frequency, third eye frequency, and crown frequency. And heart, really all of them, because once you're at a higher frequency, you're still experiencing the lower ones. So that's just how they work. It's like the chakra system. So the chakra system is just showing you the levels. It hits at a cycle, because your chakras is literally a cycle too. They all correspond with each other. Alright, so my trick for you is to blend up strawberries. Don't like strawberries. Seeded watermelons. Put the seeds, leave the seeds in them unless you want to grow. Leave the seeds in them when you blend it. If you use the strawberries, leave the wash the leaves off, but leave the green leaves in it because it's good for your joints and your blood flow, and like arthritis and shit like that. So leave all that. That's what I mean by chakras. It tells you what it is in the fruit, what it's good for. So the green leaves is good for your joints and stuff like that because it allows your blood flow. So blood flow is good for the heart, right? And then the red is good for the root. And then your cells, because your sperm count, it cleans up that area up. So now that that's being said, the heart and the root works together in unity. Like it's like say like the root and sacral twins, but the root, the heart, and the crown is like one. Cause once you on like certain shit, it, it that could be explained in another video. But let's get back to this. Can CPAP reverse bradycardia? Several treatment decrease or totally prevent the reoccurrence of nocturnal sinus bronchitis. AV blocks and sinus arrest. In one study, researchers found a positive trend in therapeutic. All right, so boom. You see that blockage? All right, so boom. So see the mucus and all that shit. That's tied to lactic acid. It's just too acidic for your body. Like the shit, if you ever threw up, really is because of the food that you were eating. It's always been the food that upsets your stomach. It's the food that makes you hungry because your body is feeding on minerals. So when your body actually has the minerals, you really tend not to even throw up or even feel hungover because of the chemical alchemy that's going on in your stomach. So like to clear up this lactic acid, you need to blend up the strawberries. Like I said, get about 3 mangoes. You can get the honey mangoes and the regular mangoes. Mix that up. That'll be really good. Get a fresh pineapple. Right? So you get a fresh pineapple. You get some good kiwis. Make sure they're not interfered with. If you don't use kiwis, I would say green grapes, because green grapes are really actually powerful for the for that area. And and yeah, for the heart. And the red grapes is good for your root, but the green ones give you a lot of energy for your heart because it allows the blood flow to go through, which is also good for everything that's down. You have to make sure that you're getting good grapes though, because the green grapes represent hot chakra. They're really high in antioxidants and really high in vinegar, so it makes like a liqueur for you, like the body and you need. So it's turning into a natural vinegar, and vinegar cleans up shit like that. But it's edible for you. Like the liquid vinegar has synthetic acetic acid in it, so it's like you gotta watch out with that shit. Plus, if you was to make natural vinegar, it would come from your fruits. Period. Because if you leave any fruit, that's any fruit, all fruits, and all fruits consist of that vinegar that your body needs, plus different minerals and antioxidants that you need. So, like I said, we're gonna have to make a chakra drink with the fruits because God made it to be a reflection of you. So when you see it, when you know thyself, that's when you look at that way, because you know your frequencies emit a rainbow, and that you're everything and everything is you. You're omnipresent, just being knowing your DNA. So, and plus anything that wants to be on this planet to even be able to sustain, you will have to get on a balanced diet because that's the planetary diet. Yeah. So, because everything emits orange, that's just like that because it's solar. It's solar fruit. It's a star seed. It's a star seed that was planted below and brought through portals because that's how we can move. It's hella portals on here. All by the deltas in the four elements. Whatever looks like a delta and it's part of the elements portal. All right, so look, the that's where all the weather machines be manipulating at because the energy goes there a lot. Tied to like 144 degrees, 77 degrees, 74, 72, 48, 222, so on and so on. So look, so when you blend it up, you got the strawberries or whatever, you got the mangoes, the pineapple, the kiwis. If you don't have kiwis, try something different. Star fruit is pretty good too. It's good for your respiratory. Opens it up. And it's part of the citrus family. So you know what that do? That's part. It's like a star plant for real, solar plant. Um, all the tropical plants are solar plants. So when you blend that up, if you don't have either or, use spinach. Um, I don't really advise the too many mixtures of the vegetables with the fruit, even though at the same time it's herbs on certain fruit, like the leaves on it and shit like that. That's just a herb or vegetable, pretty much if used properly. But it can cause fermentation. But at the same time, it's also cool in my eyes. But I would, with the vegetables, I would separate it. But the spinach for the green and the heart, that's actually good because just take papa for example. All right, and because it opens up your veins while the fruit is moving through. So you got the spinach for the green, then you have the blueberries or any blue fruit that you fuck with for the throat chakra. All right, you got the green for the heart, you got the mangoes for the solar, or you could say the pineapples. So I would really say pineapples, even though that's yellow and solar's orange. But I would say orange is more of a sacral color to me. Um, because it deals with sacred energies, which is the sun. And once you get past the root and the sacral, your heart and your solar opens up more. Well, your heart is already mostly open. It's just getting interfered with the wrong energies in the root because it correlates with each other like a battery. So to make more light, you have to correlate your chakras together, like align them together like the stars and the constellations with the sun because you are the sun. So that being said, um, I keep mixing. All right, so you got your strawberries, whatever, red fruit for your root and your solar. You got your mangoes and sacral, pineapples. Because sacral, I mean, pineapples is good for the lymphatic system in your throat, but it's also good for your stomach, like cramps and stuff like that. So I would say that's good for like your liver area too. Um, and then if you want to take it up a notch to make it move like niacin, do some separately. Get some North Carolina Reaper pepper, scorpion pepper, chop it up, and eat it pretty much. But don't mix it in that drink. That'd be OD. I feel like it will still work, but shit, that was how you got them feeling crazy because it gives you energy. It, it helps your cells breathe. So, because in this energy that we're in is subdivision energy. It's trying to duplicate itself. It's trying to go back to balance. You feel me? It's trying to repair you. But if you're not going with it, it could destroy you, right? Because if you know thyself, you know God, and you know what He did and why it was created like that, or why you created it like that, because it's part of you, right? So you got the blueberries for the throat, and then you get the blackberries. That's because those are purple, right? And it's good for your blood flow, for your brain. Blueberries is also like good for your respiratory too. That's why it's throat chakra. But the thing is, most of these fruits are mixed with different colors. So if you peep, the inside of a blueberry might be green. So that's good for your uh, respiratory, your throat, and your respiratory, because that deals with your heart too. So like, that's why when you put a whole bunch of blueberries in your hand and you put it in your mouth and you just smash them up and eat it, it releases a lot of carbon or hydrogen. You feel me? And it's like when you eat them, you get like more breath, right? You can feel it, and it just makes you like start breathing on your. It actually helps you work on your breath work when you eat fruit. So that's all it's doing is opening up these um it's opening up these sinus blockages in you. Because most of the time you might get blocked up and then you might seem like you're off a little bit because the blood's not flowing. It's all about blood flow. So shit they're using is cholesterol. It makes cholesterol, high cholesterol. And high cholesterol results in uh different effects like paralysis. Feel me? So let's get back to this. So BA meaning medical. Alright, we got that. Alright, so if I'm not tripping, they said something. Alright, yeah, barium. Barium is in the air, right? The thing is, barium is in the air. So with the mucus that's being built up in you, and is most likely going to be due to the food. It's out of date, most of it. So when it sits, it sits. Most of the meat don't even disperse itself unless you chop it down good enough. So that being said, it builds up lactic acid, which is like the acid you see in zombies, right? The more hotter and hotter it gets outside, the more toxic that shit's going to get, and it will actually burn through your skin, right? Just like the lakes are drying up, you would dry up because no type of water, there's no type of cells that's reproducing itself to even transform the light into food for the body that's holding your frequency, because you're a frequency, you're not the food. Also, look, but the food has frequencies attached to it. So like say you're eating nature, now you're becoming part of nature. Nature is part of the universe. It's, when you eat fucking cows and shit all the time, now you're becoming a cow, a human. Alright, so look, or not a human, but mankind. Atomic number 56. A soft silver metallic element of alkali earth found in barite. Alright, so let's see. Meaning backache. BA, because when it's pathological blood destruction. So when you start to feel sick, it's because too much mucus in you. When the air that you're breathing in from these clouds, when the plasma hits the clouds, that's how you generate cold. It's just like making ice. Or you having a system that requires it. You need hydrogen, ice, and whatever elements that coexist with it. So that being said, when it starts, the red blood cells actually, like the spike proteins from the food and the shot, actually spikes your protein, your hemoglobin. And your hemoglobin is in charge of transporting your proteins and really is part of transporting your amino acids to your respiratory system, because amino acids is your DNA, it's your cells, it's your memory, right? So if you start eating what's you start becoming your memory, right? So um, so when like the spike proteins, they spiked it up because they knew the diets people were on. Now people are eating a little more healthy since they're starting to peep game. But um, yeah, it's like, you know how the chakras, that's your organs. So it moves in that cycle, right? So it causes respiratory problems, moves up, because the more spiked the proteins is, if you're eating shit that's not amino acids, that's not your real proteins that you need, because your amino acids actually convert into the proteins that you need, making it a more healthier variable. So that being said, as it moves up, it moves to the head, making headaches and sinus problems. It's moving to your third eye. Then as it comes back down your spine, it starts killing off in your spleen. When the spleen is, in my eyes, solar uh, solar connection. So it weakens it, because that's their whole idea of weakening the solar connection and interfering with the frequency with CERN to go against the real race. So you got your reptilians with their light with CERN, and then you have our galactic family doing it the natural way with the suns and the alignments. But not all of the alignments are aligning to the sun, because you also have to remember CERN needed some satellites to align with it too, right? I mean, it does interfere with Mu and Nu, but it has to get something. I mean, yeah, I know it uses the sun because it's using the other constellations, but mostly they're using Saturn because Saturn controls the alignment to the sun at the lowest key. That's why they worship Saturn. All right, so look, so the backbone, that's from the red blood cells dying in the spleen. The blood alcohol is now that is being in your blood. The bronchial asthma is the spike proteins that's getting transported to your respiratory tract. And the bowel acid is the lactic acid that's sitting in your womb that needs to be cleaned up, because physically that destroys your womb, and then that causes problems for your root area. Men may be softy, women menopause. That's why they heat up so much, because it's trying to kill what's blocking it. It's just common sense. So like, clean up the womb, that fruit drink that I told you to do, if you was to do it repetitively every week, every day, you will see results. Make sure you put alkaline water in it with a little splash of, like a little dab pink salt. Alright, so but it's also good after you eat those type of fruits, because it's literally going to clean up your mouth and everything. You might feel a little burning sensation just because it's dirtier than what you think. So to balance that out, I would drink plenty of water and vegetables that hold a lot of water in it, like melons and shit. So the bowel acid, that ties down to your bowel movement. So yeah, that's when the pineapples and all of that comes together. Like, it all works together, because if you put all those fruits in one, it's like your chakras working together at one. But that's your balance food that you need. I'm trying to give you the sauce. Make sure them fruits straight. Alright. So look, because all of this ties down to pathology. And this is medical words. Pathology and lysis. Lysis is pathological blood destruction. So when you breathe it in and it's trapped in your mucus and you go get checked up, it's going to match up the virus that they created in the shot, because it's the same shit that's in the shot too. So the virus always been in the shot. It's legal to go on TV and make propaganda. So it's really, you use your discernment if you believe it or not. Most people was chosen not to believe it because something in them woke them up and they went with it. That's like walking with God, walking with self, because it really was spiritual warfare around people who thought otherwise. Some people wouldn't even want to chill with you, turn on you, look at you weird. And then some people feel bad that they even took it. But either way it goes, there's a cause and effect to everything. Chemical reactions. So you're the variant. It's up to you. Are you gonna allow them to do what they're trying to do with you being a variant, or you're gonna do what you need to do? Because it's not about them. It's never been about them. It's always been about us. They're intrigued in the way that we're built to last and survive. And that's going for everything. Alright, so we got that barium. Something was telling me to look up barium and bandium, because 5 actually stands for bandium. And vanadium has been something, see, vanadium sulfate, barium hydroxide, vanadium sulfate. This might be the equation, y'all. Observing chemical changes. Yep. Process for uniting, producing barium hydroxide and manganese sulfate. You know why? Because the atoms in the air is turning from iron to magnesium. So that deals with the oxygen being removed out of the air and going back to hydrogen. Because that's the only way that would really happen. If the iron was to go back to magnesium, like the atoms, it's the only way because magnesium deals with more hydrogen than oxygen. Iron actually deals with more oxygen. Well, it deals with hydrogen. But the thing is, the oxygen rushes out the iron. So that's like in fall when they change it to barium. That's what it be. They change it to barium in fall because it makes the trees, the color of the trees change color. Most of them are green, dealing with like your uh your first trees. Most of them are green, purple, pink, blue, right? Like bright colors, right? Because those are original colors, right? Those are the primary colors: purple, blue, green, right? Those are the primary colors. They say red, orange, yellow is, but green, blue, purple is, because when you think about delta, it means UV. The UV, ultraviolet, violet is purple, standing for crown, right? So the ultraviolet, what was I saying? Yeah, the ultraviolet deals with the I know you just threw me off. Oh yeah, the ultraviolet is purple. So as the frequency actually falls, now you see different colors. So like look at it as your body, like your brain. Your brain emits purple where your two suns is. Your left side of your brain, your right side. So you got your red, you got your red sun and the blue kachina. That's the symbolism of your brain because it's a reflection of what's going on above. So and below. So that's purple, right? What do green and blue make when it comes together? Purple, right? So blue and red, blue and red makes purple. What makes blue? What makes blue? The answer to what color makes blue is none. As blue is a primary color, so there's no need to mix any two colors to make blue. See? So really, purple is a conjoin of the red and the blue. What makes red? If you mix yellow and magenta, you'll end up with red. So yellow right, is your sacral. Magenta is like crown. It's like a between a light and dark red and an orange. It's really all of them. So the promise it is that red is a primary color. Blue and yellow. Aside from red, the other primary colors are blue and yellow, right? Because yellow, magenta, goes with that. Violet, red, blue, green, blue, yellow, blue, yellow, right? That's why hibiscus is good for shit like this right now. Hibiscus, mint, dandelion, blue. Alright, so dang, what I was about to say. Alright, so that's like blue, yellow, throat, sacral, right? Blue, yellow, blue, yellow, throat, sacral. Alright, so because that interferes with the roots and the heart. Yep, which also will interfere with the brain. Because look, sacral is your stomach, your blue is your throat. That's your lymphatic system that goes down to your bowel, right? Because your lymphatic system goes all the way down to your root, all the way down to the right leg. It makes a Z. So you make a Z from your right down, it's going to end up right there again, right? That's why it's like kind of like your left side controls some of your right side. It's not completely all of your right side because of the Z's. You have to follow the Z, and then you can see where it's connected to, right? Because it's a cycle. You know how robots work and shit. It's a cycle. All right, so pretty much you just as your strains come together, it's like you're wiring back your body. All right, so I forgot where I was getting to with that. Uh, hmm, I like that. This represents the Trinity. There's two suns giving back the solar power. Because when two come together, it makes a stronger light. That's when positive, negative, red, blue come together and make a positive light. Let's say blue is negative, uh, red is positive. It might be wrong, but it's just an example. This is how your black dot deals with your chakras: heart, root, third eye, throat, third eye, sacral, solar. All right, let's just get off that because I didn't mean to do that. But yeah, observing. All right, so Yeah, as the frequency falls, it actually goes from purple, blue, green, yellow, orange, red. All right, so boom. Let's look at this. Yeah, so when the barium falls, like during fall, when it's looking more a little red, to counteract the red iron oxide, uh, it falls when the plasma generates in the clouds, because that would make carbon monoxide. So when that happens, it falls in frequency. So as the clouds falls in frequency, it becomes now part of your air, the air that you're breathing, and the air that the plants and shit breathe in too. So it fucks with your respiratory because of the oxygen, the oxidization that's going on with your cells. Because most of your cells are the natural elements, but most of them is hydrogen and carbon. So oxygen actually dehydrates hydrogen and carbon. So when you look outside of the trees during fall, when they change it to barium, um, it changes the colors of the trees and make it rust out. So when you look at your skin, it's also the same way as the trees dealing with too much oxidization, because you emitting a rainbow, meaning your frequencies could emit them colors too. I mean, your skin can emit them colors too because you're a rainbow. So that being said, if you were say if you were another color at one point, a rainbow color, right? Because really, the skin goes blue back, the blood red, the veins green, um, so on and so on. But I'm saying, like, say if you were another color, for you to turn into a brownish, rusty, a rust color type, which is like red, orange, black, in that color spectrum range, right? To yellow, in that color spectrum range, when everything was green, right? Like magnesium, right? Which is like another form of iron or another metal, um, but natural, right? Because now that I'm saying, if that helps your cells when you eat it and help the flow in the cell subdivision, then magnesium is what the cell was at first, not iron. So, but maybe iron is part of it. But iron, in my eyes, makes you more dense. And the key is, I mean, is to be less dense. And plants are rarely dense, like feathers, that have a lot of magnesium. So I'm thinking magnesium actually deals with gold, right? Because I know one of the suns actually is magnesium. It's the periodic table. Um, so when the barium falls, it becomes the air quality. Now it's an airborne disease that's tied in to what it's tied into, right? And we're gonna figure out what it's tied into. But barium, vanadium. All right, let's see. This is my first time looking this up. Mm, just learning with the scientists. All right, so I guess you can read along if you want to learn that way with me. So I'm doing the same thing. Oh, that's some bull. See, it be when I do shit like this, then I can't post it. Like, come on. I'm tired of this shit, bro. It's just funny as hell.